some stopping tonight, I reckon.
Well, Bill, I thought they were absolutely outstanding from start to finish, and obviously in a confident mood. The business end of the year, they got stability, they got competition for places, a lot of accountability in that side as well. But I agree with what Barry McDermott was saying before about the forwards moving the ball, and this Salford side are a side that'll shift the ball anywhere on the field. So expect the unexpected. A really good rugby side that Wigan are up against.
Salford's confidence boosted by back-to-back victories, that after a poor run of form, 6 defeats in a row. So at least they have got a bit of momentum back. Nothing on a par with Wigan, who really are flying at the moment and playing with such confidence as well.
You're right, Bill. I've always found, though, that fast players excite fans, and we've got so many of those on show here tonight for both these teams. It was due, I'm certain we're going to see some classic tries and some brilliant rugby.
Harry Smith puts a long, high kick in. And into the arms of Ken Seo. First touch for him tonight. Ryan Briley out fullback for Salford. Just been suffering with a bit of tonsillitis in the build-up to this game. There you go. You can see how the weight of history is stacked against Salford in this particular fixture.
Well, but this is the area of the game, like Wigan get to the kicks, they kick it long, then they defend really hard, they're very aggressive with the line speed. You've just got to soak up the pressure if you're a Salford player. Take the opportunities, take it forward like this when it's asked from Danny Addy, and just keep turning up for your teammate.
It's Paul Rowley with his coaches up top, describing this game beforehand when he spoke to Jenna as a war of attrition. But Salford have other elements to their game if they can bring them to bear in this contest.
You're right, Bill. What the challenge is for Salford to match Wigan's enthusiasm when they have to defend. We've talked about the flair and their attacking combinations that they've got, but Wigan, I think, set the foundations for the victory last week with outstanding defence early in the first half hour of that match. And Salford need to replicate, compete with and match Wigan here now in doing that.
They're going to have to keep an eye on well, the previous carrier, Abbas Miski, but also on that man, Liam Marshall, part of a very potent Wigan attack at the moment. Abbas Miski on 20 tries, Marshall on 19. That is some threat on the flanks.
You're right, it's not a bad return, is it? I'm looking forward to the battle and what the form of Wigan players in Ollie Partington and Brad Singleton in particular in the middle of the field. That added extra motivation to fight fire with fire.
Give 10 kids.
Smith gets the kick away, despite the best efforts of Singleton and Croft. And it's Ken Seo once more, who made his 100th Salford appearance last weekend in the victory over Wakefield. Seo
10 metres. Hold, go on.
Just inside their own 40.
He's been a great recruit, hasn't he? Tim Laffey for the Salford club. Now he's a shift of the ball.
Seo is quickly shut down and sent back where he came from. That's good defence from Wigan. Almost getting the man into touch. In fact, he did get a foot in touch. That's good work from the touchy to work out whose boot was whose.
You'd have to check here. I thought when the Briley starts to lend weight, which is clearly doing that, I thought the referee was supposed to go held. My understanding of the rules must be incorrect if that isn't the case, because Briley gets involved here at this point. There's no doubt that he's lending weight to that tackle. It continues on, and the touch judge just puts his flag up as the foot hits the line. That's what the rules say, though, Terry. Whether you agree or not, those are the rules.
I think that was a fair call from the ref. Salford have got to do better. If they're going to shift the ball like that, it's got to be with more intent to get through the line and beat a man. You can't run into a defender and then be held up by a further 3 men that come in.
Here's Byrne, and what a stonking game he had against Catalan last week. And Callum Watkins, brave.
Absolutely outstanding. His stats weren't amazing, these metres carries, but just the sheer ferocity in which he played the game from start to finish.
Hardly missed a game this season, Liam Byrne, the Irish international. And on the back of his driving runs, Wigan hoping to capitalise. Here's Kai Pearce-Paul.
Well defended by the
Smeed
Reds.
with the tackle. That's the 5th tackle. And Smith kicks across fields. Comfortably taken.
He's good in the air, isn't he, Ken Seo? And he'd know that when that ball landed on the right-hand side of the field, it was going to come back to him, and he was going to be put under some pressure.
And here's Callum Watkins. Wigan, Cade Ellis appealing for a knock on there. Nothing coming their way. And Salford look to clear their lines.
Go free, good card, free.
And you look at it, Bill, this is where they look to get you.
Riley, here is Tim Laffey. Cutting back infield, Laffey.
And Kai Pearce-Paul clamping all of that ball. Knows what a good offloader he is. Tim Laffey.
Dream team centre last season. That's quick hands, but the ball's been knocked on in their enthusiasm to give that ball some width.
But that's better play, isn't it, from Salford? That's what when we watch Salford play, this is the sort of exciting play that the coach, Paul Rowley, says, go out there and do it. They'll shift the ball over on left. Tim Laffey nearly gets his arms free for an offload. They then come over to the right-hand side. And just for that loose arm, Marshall could have been in a bit of trouble with a 2-on-1. But Paul Rowley's certainly a coach that likes to promote the game.
I think they were lucky with that decision, but this is danger time here because of the speed of Field and French. Scrum situations like this, they have to be on high alert.
Bang in the middle of the pitch, just inside the Salford 40, and options here for Wigan. Here is Harry Smith. Smith goes to Field. And it comes to Miski, and Miski puts the brakes on. They'll be watching his every move the Lebanese international Abbas Miski. Here is Harry Smith. Smithies. Salford marching back. Liam Byrne once more. Callum Watkins again standing his ground. Salford supporters that end of the ground urging their side on in defence. French. Field lobs it out wide to Abbas Miski. Miski looks for an opportunity, and 4 of them to stop him. And he's lost the ball, and it's a ball steal. Wow. No sympathy from referee Chris Kendall for the Salford Red Devils here.
Well, it's
He's
Mark
lost
Sneed.
that ball.
Well, Mark Sneed's the man who's had all the ball. You can see him going into contact with the side where the calls probably come from the touch judge. You can see just a little tug from his left arm, which was enough for the touch judge.
Salford will be feeling hard done by already. We've only had 7 minutes. And here comes Cade Ellis, and Ellis on the charge towards the post, looking for the first try of the night. Wigan threatening here. Big opportunity. Harry Smith, and on it comes quickly to Marshall. Marshall faced by a trio of Salford defenders looking for a quick play the ball. Can't get that. Set restart because of Croft's involvement there. Here is Liam Farrell. Farrell stopped about 10 metres out, bang in front of the posts. Here's Liam Byrne. Again, Callum Watkins leading the way with his tackle down low. Brad O'Neill it is, spinning the ball out. Then Smith, and the ball over the top, and Miski has to retreat, and Wigan fluff their lines. And Miski looks hands on hips. Matty Pete looks inquiringly as to what exactly went wrong there.
He'll be disappointed, Matty Pete. And you could see that Tim Laffey come in to close the play down. He jams in, which means that Burgess has got to go in as well, which left a 2-on-1 on the outside, but the execution of the pass wasn't good enough from Harry Smith.
Brilliant defence from Salford. Do you know what? They've had to expend a lot of energy there in the opening 9 minutes of that match. So much of it close to their own try line. Obviously full of energy at this point, but you can't continue to allow Wigan to attack that try line because points will come.
Busy night, of course, significant night potentially, and Catalan Dragons are ahead in East Yorkshire. Hull KR 0, the Catalan Dragons 6, and Lee ahead just down the road at Lee Sports Village, 4-0 against the Huddersfield Giants. Catalan looking to bounce back after their humbling by Wigan last time out.
You'd certainly expect a reaction, wouldn't you, in that game?
What about that tackle then? You wouldn't run it. Kai Pearce-Paul straight on like Brad Singleton just did then, didn't he?
40-20 attempt from Brodie Croft. Hasn't got the legs. Field comes across quickly to gather the ball. And they need to make sure they don't let this man run.
Again, we said it last week when they played in Catalan, that speed gets you out of trouble so many times. Midfield and French. Miski returning the ball. The good work that he does yet, like you said, scored 20 tries, but bringing the ball away as well in your yardage positions along with Marshall. There's Marshall again, you see the footwork at the line. Look to fight, look to play the ball quickly.
It's Harry Smith's turn to put a deep kick in. And Ryan Briley is there. Wigan have really had the upper hand in meetings between these two sides in Super League. They're looking for their 50th win over the Red Devils in Super League tonight. And that record includes 26 home wins to just 3 for Salford here. That just shows how it is stacked against the Red Devils here tonight. But they have done it before, memorably 2019.
2019, one of the best nights, wasn't it, as a Salford supporter, when they beat them to get to the grand final.
A lovely step from Croft, and it was Morgan's, beg your pardon, it was Brad O'Neill clinging on to an ankle, but they're rolling forward now, are the Red Devils. 5th tackle. Ackers and Croft into a bit of space. Marshall puts his hand up, says that's my ball, and claims it.
That's a good set of 6 from Salford. They were trapped down near the line. They managed to get up the other end of the field. And the Warriors now 20 metres off their line. Let's see what Salford can do. What's their intent like in defence?
Toby King playing the ball, try scorer last weekend in that victory in Perpignan.
We've had a lot of ball in play here in the opening 11-12 minutes of this match here, continuous play. There's going to be a test here now. We're going to see gaps start to appear. It's been an intense, bruising tackle's gone in, and Smith now kicks forward again, high to the corner.
That is a big kick. Kensio makes sure it goes backwards.
Again, look how many players Wigan are surrounded in by, and Salford now they're struggling for gas.
Well, they've certainly got a defensive attitude, haven't they, Wigan? They kicked on the 4th play on that. The previous set of 6, they kicked on the 3rd. They kick into Kensio's corner, and they're really looking to challenge them, saying, right, if you're going to come at us, let's see what meters you've got in you.
There's Laffey once more, and they can't get a hold on him.
Well, that's to make a change as well. Max Sneed's come off. Chris Atkin on the field.
That's interesting. Sneed must have obviously picked up a bang. He has only missed 1 game this season. Again,
Brilliant play.
here is Seo cutting back in field. Wigan just managing to close the door there. But Salford maybe hitting their stride here. Mark Sneed, we understand, has gone straight to the dressing room. Meanwhile, Callum Watkins seems to be getting attention in back play. High kick, Miski claims it.
Callum Watkins, yeah, he's got a bit of an issue.
Obviously patched up there.
And they need him, don't they, over on this right-hand side. He's so good defensively, as well as those attacking lines back against the grain.
He's a great leader as well.
Yeah, he is. You know, he leads by his actions.
Exactly, yeah.
Doesn't have to say much, Callum. He's not a big talker in the game, but he leads by his actions, certainly.
Mark Sneed wandering around the edge, walking around the edge of the pitch. Doesn't seem to be moving too badly. Little kick into the corner. Briley comes across to cover it. Just wondering what the options are when they ran out of options, or he ran out of options.
Well, Wigan haven't got bored of chasing those kicks, have they? I mean, Harry Smith's long kick, that was a chaos kick by French. Smith and Sneed are 2 of the best kickers in the Super League at gaining ground for the team. It's one of his batters successful here now. And in the absence of Sneed, either Atkin or Croft needs to fill that void. Maybe it's Ackers who'll kick.
That ball's been lost, and the referee says play on. It was just dropped. No ball steal.
Well, it's a one-on-one steal, and you can see when Ackers goes in, like Harry Smith strips the ball. So that's a one-on-one. That's That's play on.
And then a forward pass, isn't it, Terry, then from Cade Ellis. So was it Kai Pearce-Paul?
A bit of a schmozzle one way or the other,
yeah.
And it's ended up with Salford getting the ball back.
Well, he's a lucky boy there, isn't he? Ackers. He knows that he's got to keep tight hold of that ball and going to be put under a lot of pressure. Like you said, if Mark Sneed's off the field, a bit more pressure goes on to the likes of Ackers and Atkin and Croft and Brierley.
15 minutes on the clock, 0-0 here, and not really a scoring chance to speak of so far. Salford will be happy with that. Brad Singleton, who travelled from Wigan to Salford and then part of an exchange deal for Tyler Dupree, but no Tyler Dupree for Wigan tonight, having failed a head injury assessment. Here is Brierley and here is Watkins. And they're 20 metres away from the Wigan line. I think this is the deepest Salford have ventured into Wigan territory so far this evening, and they're not going to get much further with defence like that.
Yeah, it's a good read, that, isn't it, from Bevan French?
Chris Atkin felt that when he hit the deck.
Some people said Bevan French couldn't defend. Chris Atkin won't think that right now. Sent him down under, didn't he, with that?
It's good technique, isn't it? And Paul Rowley just waiting to have a look at the replay, have a look at the big screen, see what Bevan French did, and if he lifted him up above the horizontal.
Brad Singleton is just out of the shot there, having giving his verdict on things while that was going on to his former Wigan colleagues. As Paul Rowley will be hoping. He just lost Mark Sneed, one of his ball players. He's brought Chris Atkin on, who's been ever present this season in all 25 games, albeit a lot of presence on the bench. But they don't need to lose him.
He's a good player though, isn't he, to come and play in the halves, play at hooker. Paul Rowley, Kurt Haggerty on the right hand side done a decent job with him. He's a tough player, Chris Atkin. I remember seeing him playing one of his first games when he got moved from the halves into the hooking role, and how strong he was, how good he was. He would never back down from anything. He's obviously got a bit of an issue here.
Well, there's an issue down on the sideline. Let's join Jenna.
Yeah, Mark Sneed went down the tunnel. We saw him walking around the pitch there. Before I could catch a word with the physio, he went straight into the dressing room to be assessed. I will get a firmer outcome for that for you, but he was holding his lower back, so hopefully it's not too bad. And looks like Chris Atkin is okay to play on, which is a huge boost for Paul Rowley, isn't it?
It is, Jenna. Yeah, he's back on his feet. And well, there's anything wrong with that tackle.
It's a good tackle, good technique, ball and all. He hits him. I don't think there's an issue. Strong defence. Look at it. Pulls the trigger, jams in. Good technique, goes in, lands on his back, his shoulder blades.
Tom Grant is the video ref. Oh.
Wow.
Chris Kendall deciding there was something untoward in it. Was he above the horizontal?
We do want to avoid serious injury, don't we? And I understand penalising that, Terry. So,
of course we do.
The message is that if we're a little bit worse, it could have been more serious, Terry. So I think a penalty's in order. Big question now for Salford is whether they kick at goal. If they do, who takes it?
Wow. I think they're hard done to there. If buts and maybes. Bevan French comes in, he lifts him up, comes up with a decent tackle for me, but it's a penalty. He's got to get on with it now.
Well, in the absence of Mark Sneed, who has an 86% success rate with his goal kicking this season, Ryan Brierley has got the goal kicking duties, and he's kicked one goal this season.
He's got an easy one to start, though, hasn't he? Here's Mark Sneed in the dressing room explained to the doctor there what's happened in the incident.
Something's gone twang.
Yeah, he's back. Saying he can feel something in his back when he's trying to wrestle with someone, twist them around, and there's some lower back pain.
So Brierley looking for the first points of the night, and he is successful, and Salford are ahead. A lot of huffing and puffing so far here tonight, but not much created.
Well, at the end of the day, Paul Rowley will be happy with the the 2 points from that man. Points could be a plenty in this game. The way it started off, it's been very cagey. That man was just lining this ball up here to kick, been kicking early, just trying to turn Salford around and force an error.
As ever, a good contingent of Salford supporters, and as ever making themselves heard.
Well, the completion rate last week for the Warriors, I think the reason why they were so good in the South France, they competed in the first half at 95%, only made 6 errors in the whole game. Salford, they're only competing at just over 60%. They've got to get that right.
There is Watkins. Wardle with the tackle on him.
Oof. The speed with which Wigan are moving forward there, Liam Byrne.
And Helwell went to ground. Here is Singleton now. Has actually played a few games for Wigan this season. 12 appearances for Wigan before he made his move. Croft with the kick. Field claims the ball and then sets Miskey running.
And it's a powerful charge, isn't it? Well taken from Field, and just offloads the ball. And Marshall now just looking to do a decent job as well, like his opposite.
Marshall playing the ball. Here is Jake Wardle. He's been a good signing. He's played in 25 of the 26 games so far this season for his new club. Here's his centre partner, Toby King.
Lost the ball.
And he has lost that ball, and Tim Laffey, referee's going to bring him back because there was a Salford hand in there. That is why King lost the ball.
Well, a couple of penalties they've given away for hands in.
We are looking at 2 teams here. Wigan are the least penalised side in Super League. Salford, the most penalised side. That's a problem and an issue I think that they're going to have to address between now and the end of the season. On average, they give 3 penalties away more than Wigan a match, and that makes life hard.
And the penalty gives Wigan a big opportunity here. Partington, was he high on Cade Ellis there? Certainly some of the Wigan spectators near us thought so. Old time's sake from Partington. Here is Liam Byrne. Byrne playing the ball just to the left of the post. Here is Harry Smith now. Smith on the charge. Ellis again. Wrestling his way, edging his way towards that Salford line. Wigan looking to hit back here. Morgan Smith is on it, comes to Farrell, and Farrell has slipped one. He's stepped the next. He's found his way through. Great work from Liam Farrell. Stepping, wrong-footing the Salford defence and getting his 8th try of the season. Elegant footwork from a second row forward. That is why he is the 2nd highest try-scoring Super League forward in the history of the competition.
There's the ex-Wigan player, Ollie Partington, that strips the ball from Toby King, gives them the 2nd penalty of this game, and it's a trademark try, isn't it, from Farrell. You've got a player that goes up, just opens up the gate for him, and no panic whatsoever from a player that's like the backbone of this side. Does a decent job over on that left edge. You could see there was all eyes for Jay Field out the back, and Liam Farrell just turns up, runs off a nice short pass from Harry Smith, and just goes through and just does enough to step a couple of players and go in.
Closing in on Kieran Cunningham's tally for the highest number of tries scored by a forward in this competition is Liam Farrell.
You talk about Kieran Cunningham, he's almost got James Roby consistency and longevity in my eyes. Liam Farrell's been the same here for Wigan, always in the right place at the right time, generally for 80 minutes. Magnificent engine. And I think the pass from Harry Smith probably sometimes goes unnoticed. I think players come out for Wigan isn't an easy position. It's a player under a position under pressure, under scrutiny. For a young man, he's doing remarkably well in my opinion. His goal kicking might not be the best, but his infield play has been outstanding.
Well, he's ever present in all 26 games this season, and he's missed again. Hooked that one across the face of the posts. 4-2 the scoreline.
But you can just see, look at the danger there. Jay Field out the back. They shoot the line and they forget about Liam Farrell. And if you ever play against the Warriors, you'd always see that that's the sort of line that he will go at. Consistently, he'll just come off a little tip on off the half, while the outside backs have that attacking shape that scares the living daylights out of the defence.
First try of the night then goes to Wigan, and Liam Byrne again. There is no holding back when he charges that ball in. Ellis stretching for that one. Won an appeal against a ban to be able to play in this game tonight. Successful with his appeal. But Wigan have spilled the ball.
Yeah, Brad O'Neill just taken out by a couple of the markers then. When he tries to go on a quick play the ball, he gets out Cade Ellis. Andy Ackers is aware of it.
Sluggish play the ball from Salford. Danny Addy. Addy just inside that Wigan 20. Salford looking to hit back. Here is Callum Watkins. Smith, the ball comes out somehow. The referee says wipes the tackle count clean, so Salford have 6 to go.
Well, it's a loose offload, and then all of a sudden it comes off a Wigan hand.
Big opportunity here. Brierley, here is Tim Laffey. Laffey beats off one challenge from King. Eventually brought down by Bevan French, but that is the Wigan try line. Here is Croft. Croft brings it back with Partington. Wigan scrag their former colleague to the ground. Danny Addy stumbles and Cade Ellis pounces on him.
He was spooked by Harry Smith, who shot the line then.
Can they find something here? Little kick ahead and Wigan make it safe. It was Harry Smith to the rescue.
Great play in attack and defence. Again, the variety of Salford's shape, their angles, the kicks, their attacking plays differ from most of the teams. Not many other sides will try that. Perhaps the Catalan Dragons have started to do it more this season.
Chris Atkin was herring up. Good job that Smith responded. Mark Sneed, who Atkin has replaced, is out on the sidelines. And we can find out exactly what the story is with Jenna.
Yeah, Bill, as expected, it was a lower back. A little strain. As you can see, he's getting ready to come back on, so nothing too serious. So good news for Salford.
Meanwhile, here is Chris Atkin. And Salford, having got the ball back from the goal line dropout with Andy Ackers, now looking to maybe build a bit of pressure here. And Ackers doing well. Good run from the hooker. He's about 5 or 6 metres away. Restart signals. Big chance. Big chance. Brodie Croft's pass and Addy is spun to the ground. Brad O'Neill's tackle and then nobody at home. And Wigan pounce.
That's poor that from Salford. They get a set restart. They're on the line. And then they come up with that. It's really, really poor. This is where you want to be. And you can see it's Brodie Croft just pointing, saying, look, you've got to get in there. No communication of who's going in and who's not.
Salford kicking themselves because that was a golden opportunity for them.
5 more tackles on Wigan's line. Blown, wasted there.
8-6 at Hull KR. And an error by Wigan. Salford will get the ball back. And 10-6 Lee ahead against the Huddersfield Giants.
They're getting a couple of calls here now, aren't they, going for them? Wigan making a couple of mistakes. Patrick Mego, who was immense last week in the South France, gets up, plays the ball quickly. There's a mistake from Brad O'Neill behind the ruck. He was appealing that, saying that Patrick Mego was pushed into him, which meant that he couldn't pick the ball up cleanly. And they thought that they might have got the penalty.
Wigan going into this game after 5 consecutive Super League wins. Salford back-to-back victories for them. And here is Brodie Croft, reigning man of steel. Here is Ryan Brierley. Brierley gets it to Ken Seo. And there's a penalty.
They've got an option here for another scrum if they want to do that, or they can have a penalty. Those you see, it's a strange thing. You get an option because the back row broke before the scrum. The ball was out of the scrum, so Wigan, I think it was Liam Farrell on this side, has taken a penalty rather than another scrum. Now, if they had had another scrum and Wigan had broken early again, the player is instantly sin-binned. You can almost play for a sin bin. I don't agree with it, but those are the rules.
Well, it was a bit of a mess, that Wigan scrum.
Well, they want to pat loose because they want to get out because they know what's coming, don't they? You can see Liam Farrell trying to pull Cade Ellis out because he knows that they're going to come over on the left-hand side. And with the speed that they've got, Salford, they do strip the outside backs. And under them two coaches there, Paul Rowley and Kurt Haggerty, I think they've done a tremendous job, not only just with the attack, but with the defence of this side. And the correct call for me to go for 2 points when they're on offer in such a close game.
This to level the scores then. Ryan Brierley continuing with the goal-kicking duties. And straight onto the posts, 30 metres away. And the Scottish international delicately nudges that between the posts and brings the scores level, coming up to the half-hour mark. 4 points apiece. He said, you know, it's going to be a war of attrition. This is Paul Rowley.
The games between these sides have been close. Remember, Wigan won dramatically last season here with a J Field length of the field try with about 2 minutes to go. They won here early this season in the last 10 minutes when Wigan came back. 20 points to 16. That ended up. Salford are a competitive team now and do well, even though they don't often win on this pitch.
Well, they've gone close in their last 2 visits to Wigan, have Salford. They've lost twice to Wigan already this season, to be fair.
But playing against Wigan does bring out the best.
20 points to 16, Bill, was close, wasn't it? Round 6.
Yeah, the other one wasn't so close. So Wigan not being allowed to dominate here. Here is Brierley, burst of pace from the full-back, almost up to the halfway line. Addy, the former Bradford man, goes across the field. That's not a good pass. It goes backwards from Laffey. Chris Kendall signalling. Crowd wanting a knock-on. It wasn't a good pass.
No, it wasn't. And then there's a bit of hesitation who to pass the ball to. Needs a big kick here. Under some pressure
on the last, and it's Atkin who gets the kick away.
Always a danger, though, isn't it? You see 14, the latest score there, the Dragons.
14-6, Catalan leading at Hull KR.
When you get to the last 10 minutes of either the first or second half and you kick the ball to J Field, you need defenders close to one another, hoping for the best here that they can stop him.
Catalan looking for victory tonight to try and keep Wigan at bay in that race for the league leaders title. Hull KR looking for their place. That's a ball steal, and it's another penalty.
Yeah, penalty.
No, it's not a ball steal.
It just puts him in a dangerous position, doesn't he? And again, just don't fall into the trap of panicking. Just as you get into half-time, the last 10 minutes, make sure you keep switched on it. Callum Watkins, well, he just upends his leg. You can see, just turns him over.
Well, the last penalty conceded, Salford then let Liam Farrell in for the only try of the first half so far. Another penalty puts the Red Devils on the back foot, and storming work from Patrick Mago. Sam Powell is on the field. Here is French, and French. It's good work from Partington, and Partington turns and looks at his teammates and says, come on, let's keep him out. Half-time is approaching. He's in there again, Ollie Partington. Powell. Here's Morgan Smithies. That's the 5th tackle. Salford doing well this set so far. Can they keep Wigan at bay? Harry Smith kicks cross-field. There is some height there. Oh, they couldn't gather the ball. Wigan. And oh, there's a penalty. Somebody taken out.
I think was there a little tug when he goes to catch the ball. Again, these kicks, Harry Smith right on the button, and you can see, look, he just little nudge on him, pulls him. And Kai Pearce-Paul it is, who's in the air, just goes down under the pressure and the tug from Tim Laffite.
Salford thought they'd done the job. They thought they'd kept Wigan at bay, but they've conceded the penalty. And here is Mago. And Salford work to do here to try and deny the Warriors again. Harry Smith, on it goes to Bevan French. French finds Miskey, and Miskey finds the line. Miskey gets another try, or does he? Has Abbas Miskey got his 21st of the season with that finish? Chris Kendall reckons he has, but video ref Tom Grant will adjudicate on this one.
Tackle 2, on-field call of a try. We're checking touch and grounding, please. So he's in possession and clearly in field. Still in possession. Feet are up now. Thank you. We've seen all I need.
Oh, Tom Grant. I think that's the quickest video ref decision for some considerable time, if not the quickest of the season so far. Confirming then, surely that Abbas Miskey has got the try. 10 tries in his last 4 games. That's 11 tries in 5 now for Abbas Miskey. What a recruit he has been, the former London Bronco. That is now 30 tries in 30 appearances since he joined the club.
Try scoring record, a bit like Billy Boston, although he's probably got another 400 games to go before he'll compete with the legend. You know, Wigan in the opening 10 minutes tried to get the ball to Abbas Miskey, and the ball rolled into touch. Poor passing on this occasion. It's spot on from Smith to French to Abbas Miskey, who slides in there with a brilliant finish, just outnumbering the Salford side. Quality play from a Wigan backline there, turning field position into points. Pretty difficult goal kick though for their scrum half here now from that far touchline. Couldn't be any harder.
Chances are he'll land this from way out there. No, he's missed with that one. 8-4 the scoreline. 33 minutes on the clock.
It's amazing when you talk about there is Billy Boston. Scored many tries. In fact, was it 478 in 488 games, something like that? What a record. Abbas Miskey will have to play for another 25 years to get near that.
And George Unsworth, former kitman here. Another one didn't play for the club, but what a star he was, just with the glasses on.
George, yeah.
Great fellas. No, if you're a Wigan player, a Wigan wing, you just got to hug that touchline, haven't you? Because
it's amazing when you think about Abbas Miskey, the tries he scored. He missed the opening 7 rounds, wasn't selected, was it? Not selected until the drop K cussed, and then there was a reshuffle, and eventually he found his way into the team.
Here is Sam Powell. Powell having to be very patient. He missed 9 games, and while he was out, Brad O'Neill has staked a very strong claim for the starting hooking role. 16-6, Lee ahead against the Giants. Lee 4th in the table. Here is Kai Pearce-Paul, rangy second row forwards, who will be playing in the NRL next season. Mark Sneed on the sideline. Morgan Smithers, there's another. Partington and Smithers just having a word, and Ollie Partington not impressed by that decision.
Well, Chris Kendall saying it's exactly the same as the one over there, but again, for me, it's a good solid tackle. Look, they go in, they hit him, he comes down on his shoulder blades. Well, there's one thing, it's consistent.
Is that the 3rd so far tonight? But it's a penalty, and it's given Wigan again a good platform to strike before half-time, to try and put a dent in this Salford Red Devils resistance that has restricted Wigan to just the 2 tries so far. Here is Kai Pearce-Paul. Flings the ball backwards, and it's Mago who gets there, and Mago, he will not be stopped. Powell. He reaches Toby King, and King comes cantering back infield. Ball with Harry Smith now.
They look dangerous at the minute, don't they? Salford defenders have got to keep on going when the ball goes away from them.
Addy and Liam Farrell tangling there. Powell. It's Morgan Smithies now. Just inside the 10. Powell comes to Harry Smith. Smith puts the brakes on, tries to step the Salford defence. Fifth tackle. Can they withstand this? The last time they're in this position, they conceded a penalty. Fields pass. They will get the try from Wardle. Wardle gets the try. And Salford's defence was stretched, and ultimately it cracked. And Jake Wardle, who has been impressive since joining from the Huddersfield Giants, stretched out and got the ball down, but maybe at some cost. He's back on his feet.
Well, just keeping it simple. Sam Powell delivers a good ball to Jay Field, and then Jake Wardle does the rest, doesn't he? He gets through the line, and those passes on the button, that's poor defence from Salford on the line. They'll look back at this and they'll want to make sure that they do better. You see, Dion Cross was caught in no man's land, and Jake Wardle, with his balance, his footwork, just gets through to the delight of the coach. Looks like he's been given the all clear to get back with the team now. Big play just before half-time from Wigan.
Jake Wardle signed on a 3-year deal from the Huddersfield Giants and has slipped into this Wigan side seamlessly. He's only missed one game and he's scored 4 in a row now. So Wigan punishing Salford's indiscipline.
Well, there are some principles of play that don't change. 4 attackers, 3 defenders, found the right man, and it's try.
Smith. This one's on target. A big roar from the Wigan supporters as that conversion takes Wigan into a 14-4 lead. Must be pleasing for the coach, Matty Peets, who very kindly joins us now. What have you made of the performance so far, Matt?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty good. I think it's been a decent game, pretty even for most of it. I think if we get out of our own end well without turning the ball over, then we're going to cause Salford problems. But the first try we scored, we erred a few times after that, and Salford are a team that tests with the ball. So I think our discipline out of our own end of the field is going to be important.
What's going to be the main message when you get them in the dressing room? What are you going to lead on?
Probably that. If we don't give Salford enough looks at our end by looking after the ball, and obviously they continue to test you with their shape continually. They've got us a few times on edges, so we're going to have to be a bit smart there. But no, on the whole, I think our effort and our discipline's been reasonably good.
Thanks, Matt.
Pleasure, thank you.
Another penalty conceded by Salford. High shots. Callum Watkins on Morgan Smithies.
Look at that, 6 penalties to 2. They're not helping themselves, are they, Salford? Conceded a couple of tries on the back of penalties. Extra set to 6 that Wigan have with the ball.
Salford don't need to concede any more before half-time.
Do you know, he looks a different player, Patrick Maygo, for me. Still trying to earn a contract.
Here's Kai Pearce-Paul, the former Croydon Hurricane. Haven't said that too many times in my commentary career. Little chip kick over the top into the arms of Field. It just hung there. Just was in the air just a bit too long, and the Salford defenders were able to come back and close him down, but they ain't finished yet, Wigan. Another little chip kick over the top. And Burgess is there to gather the ball.
Don't panic, Joe Burgess thought he was going to try and offload the ball. And just, 25 seconds to go. They've got to make sure they complete these sets.
2 great saves, really, from the Salford side to prevent tries. That's the style, Bill. That's the style.
Stop him. Tim Laffey with an outrageous offload in the shadow of his own posts. I suppose you've got a bit. The thing is that his team, they know what to expect from him, Salford players. And there's a penalty for Salford, and that'll be welcomed. Final acts of this first half.
Will he place kick to touch and then go for the drop goal? That's probably Mark Sneed's option here.
High shot. Sneed gets a bit of distance on the kick. And that's up to the 40-metre line. And then he's just going to hoist that kick high. Field underneath it, and Field claims it, and Field will counter, and Field is going to go. Field is going to go all the way. Last seconds of the first half. That's what he can do to you. That is Jay Field at his best. And Salford are absolutely dumbstruck. They hoisted the kick, hoping to get something at the end of the first half. It's Wigan who've got something at the end of the first half.
Well, Salford shouldn't be surprised about that. They did it last year, didn't they? Right on the buzzer. Right on the buzzer. They come up with a player like that.
Morgan Esquire attempted drop goal on that occasion. The scores were tied, weren't they? So I understood the logic in that. On that occasion.
Well, look at the numbers there. If you put enough pressure on and you're going to challenge him for the ball, don't run past the ball. You've got to make sure that your line's set. If a couple of people are going to challenge for the ball, yeah, challenge. But if he comes down with it, you can't present him with an opportunity with a field that nobody's defending.
Wow.
Billet to killer that.
It is.
It's an absolute killer. That's 6 points.
Shattering the last moments. You've got a penalty. The last thing you're expecting is that you're going to end up walking back towards your own try line.
Look, 10
to
points.
Watch Harry Smith line up a conversion.
10 points behind in the second half, that's okay. But now they've put themselves, 16 behind.
Yeah.
Makes it tougher.
Makes it tougher. It was hard enough already. But Jay Field, with that sparkling run and try, has made life even harder for the Salford Red Devils and given Wigan a very healthy 20 points to 4 lead at half-time.
And in a weird year, I should say, where points difference might be all important for those sides chasing playoff places, Salford will want to do something about that deficit. Let's take you over to Lee, where they have a 16-6 lead over the Huddersfield Giants. This may be a huge result for Willie Peters' Robins side. Well, smiles on the faces of the Wigan Warriors fans here, and why wouldn't they have smiles? They have been very good in the first 40 minutes, and they have given Salford Red Devils a mountain to climb. Big night in the playoff push, big night in the race for the League Leaders Shield. Let's get straight back to our commentary team of Phil Clark, Terry O'Connor and Bill Arthur.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, big nights across the competition, big weekends with the games ahead. And as we wait for the ball to be delivered, Salford will be wondering how they can turn this game round, because it has got away from them. It's 8-4, good contest. 12-4, okay, if we can get that to half-time, it's doable. But then, that Jay Field try has really put Salford up against it, hasn't it?
Absolute sucker punch to, concede seconds to go. And like I said, they conceded one last year. You thought they would have learned a lesson from that. Need a couple of set pieces, need to be a bit more disciplined than what they have been in that first half, where they conceded on the back of penalties, and really now start to chance their arm. And they can't play conservative. And then what you'll see with the Warriors, the first few sets that they have, and maybe even the first 10 minutes, they'll kick early, they'll try and trap Salford near their own line.
That's brave. That is brave. And Atkin is away. He's looking for some support. He's got support from Brodie Croft. Has Brodie Croft got the pace? The Wigan defenders come back and claim him. They bring him down about 10 metres away. But what a good breakout that was. Briley appealing for the ball. Here is Partington, and Partington takes him on.
I think it was him who set the break up, wasn't it? Forwards passing to backs. Parting to Atkin, made the field, got them into this field position.
Can they capitalise on it now? Here is Briley. Briley's pass over the top, and it ends up in the hands of Marshall. And Marshall is going to take his man on. He's going to take Croft on. He's going to try and take Atkin on. And Atkin will eventually bring him down. What a crazy start to the second half.
Well, Brodie Croft, I think there's a bit of a problem with him. He came up with a tackle on Marshall, and then when he seen Marshall get the ball, he's thinking, come on, I've just run 60 metres. Give me a bit of a break.
Oh, what an opportunity that was from Salford's perspective with Atkin making the break. Croft just didn't have the pace.
He fell awkwardly in that tackle when he was pulled back. Brody Croft.
Ooh, that's a big hit on Junior Nsemba. Tim Laffey made his presence felt there.
This is the man I like to see with the ball in his hands. He was waving the ball like a magic wand in the first half. I think he could be key to Wigan's success in 2023 if he can stay fit.
Kai Pearce-Paul it was playing the ball. Here is Bevan French, and French allowed to run and then puts the kick in. And it's gathered by Joe Burgess, and Burgess, cunning dummy there.
Training ground move. Is that what you're saying, Bill?
Here is Ken Seo, the two wingmen doing their bits.
We don't know whether Salford will win this game, but what they've got to learn to play is that the intensity that Wigan have played with, harder, faster and for longer, is what the Warriors have shown in recent weeks. Salford, if they want to feature in the playoffs and make an impression on it, they've got to match that level.
Here's Briley.
He does a great job at the back, doesn't he? Ryan Briley. His timing's impeccable.
Marshall making sure he's in the way. Partington. On it comes to King Vuniyayiwa. That's the 5th tackle. Been a good start to the second half from Salford. Sneed back in action, lofts the kick up high. Abbas Miski claims it. Tim Laffey times his challenge well.
Phil spoke about him before. Ollie Partington, the little subtleties that he's developed in his game in a Salford jersey, where he's passing the ball. Players are turning up for him because he's knows he's got a decent pass at the line.
Well, that's a poor pass though on the deck.
I think it was knocked out, wasn't it? The hand of Partington knocked the ball down. Knocked the arm down, I should say.
Wardle it was who retrieved it. Here is Farrell, first half try scorer for Wigan, who lead by 20 points to 4. Harry Smith booms a kick downfield. Briley comes across. Sits up nicely for him. Well, Hull KR have turned that round against the Catalan Dragons. That is good news for Wigan. Well, it's good news for Hull KR as well. 20 points to 14, the scoreline there. Huddersfield coming back at Lee, 16-12. It's going to be interesting after this weekend. If Catalan suffer back-to-back defeats, then they will have... They'll be doing a Warrington.
That'll be a big
win in
result
reverse.
for Willie Peters, the Hull KR coach, if they can do the job over Catalan. Like we said at the start, we expected a big response from them after that big humiliating defeat they suffered at home last week against Wigan.
Oh, that ball's been spilled and it's been picked up by Bevan French. Oh. And then that's a high tackle from King Vuniyayiwa. It was a lazy swing, and it could be a costly swing. French was just about to leave him trailing in his wake, and oh dear.
He's the most penalised player in Super League, and that might be one of the reasons why. 22 penalties in 22 games he's given away this season. I think at the very least that's going to be 23.
A wry smile on the face of Salford's coach Paul Rowley.
He's got
penalty, isn't it?
Anything more?
Not in my opinion. The video referee has to inform the referee of what his opinion is.
He'll go for 10 here though, won't he? You know, it's a reaction, he puts it out.
It's a reckless high tackle. It's 10 minutes in the bin.
Come on,
it's reckless. Yeah. It's reckless.
10 minutes. The Wigan supporters wanted more for the former Leeds man.
Like Phil said, 23 penalties are given away this year. You look at Mark Sneed with 18, Callum Watkins 15. Look, the footwork beats him. He's going towards the sideline. King Vuniyayiwa, a big prop forward, heading at speed towards the sideline. And then you've got someone like Bevan French with the footwork and speed he's got that beats him on the inside. Your reaction as a big bloke is to stick your arm up. Unfortunately, he gets it wrong, and he's 10 minutes in the sin bin for it.
Kai Pearce-Paul was looking to do the offload, as Phil Clark said. He does like to get that ball away, just manages to keep the ball under control there. Now then, here's Patrick Mago. And Mago, it takes 4 of them to stop him. Sam Powell. Here is Harry Smith. Here is Field. Field, short ball to Junior and Sember, and strong leg drive from the Wigan replacement. Powell. Harry Smith. Back it comes to Morgan Smithies. And Wigan looking to build on that good end to the first half. Here's Kai Pearce-Paul, and he again is standing looking for an offload. Salford managed to snuff that out, but on the last, his French. Field and Sember, but good work from the Salford defence. And that, hopefully, will please their coach, Paul Rowley, who joins us from the sidelines. Paul, what was the message at half-time?
Control the controllables, really. I think we've given far too much field position through silly errors and mistakes, so unforced errors, certainly in that first half. So we made it far too easy for Wigan, and I think we're completed at 69. So we need a lion's share of possession if we're going to, match Wigan at what they do best, which is a war of attrition. So. Pretty disappointed with our execution, and weren't polished at all in what we were doing with the ball. And that reflected in what we did defensively. Made some bad choices, in particular on edges, where we came out of the system, and that hurt us.
Thanks, Paul.
Cheers.
Salford's coach Paul Rowley. Fairly blunt about his side's failures in the first 40 minutes, but there is time to repair the damage. And Tim Laffey, he was trying to get Burgess away, and again they don't connect.
Yeah, he's trying to fix the defender, isn't he? Look, you can see he gets the ball here, he skips on the outside of King, he's trying to pull the winger in, Miski, and just create that space on the wing for Joe Burgess, but that ball's got to be in front of him, it's got to be better.
10 meters.
Whether or not he had the fullback at the back, Jay Field, to beat if he gets through that line, Joe Burgess.
Wigan here capable of exploiting the fact that the opponents have only got 12 men on the field, finding that extra gap, get to the middle of the field here and look for where they think they can outnumber their opponents.
Wigan dominating possession at the start of the second half, but it remains 20 points to 4. Here is Sam Powell. Kai Pearce-Paul, Newcastle Knights next season for him. A big move that is. Mago able to offload the ball. Powell, Kai Pearce-Paul, and again he's looking, he's just teasing this Salford defence, and then he flicks the ball away to French, and French with the footwork. Clinging on to him. The Salford defenders, but set restart is signalled, and the pressure piling on this Salford defence.
That's it, Andy Ackers felt he really needed to give a penalty away to slow that ruck speed down then.
Morgan Smithies, his Powell, Mago does offload to Harry Smith, Field coming back inside, and Field the ball to French, oh what a pass that is to Toby King, and King will get another Wigan try. But take your hat off to Bevan French with that pass, and Wigan's patience is rewarded. They stretched that Salford defence, and King scores for the 5th successive game. As they say, a rich vein of form.
Well, plenty of momentum, wasn't it, in that set 6, the offloading game. Patrick Mago again causing some problems, and Tim Laffey, if he gets that ball in front of Joe Burgess, he's certainly got a chance to get good field position. Patrick Mago, again, just toying with the defenders, they can't pull him down. Offloading game, changing direction. Jay Field going across the field, and a bit of class from Bevan French. Joe Burgess comes in, he tries to close it down. Unfortunately, he can't get hold of French, who just all of a sudden puts the ball out the back, knowing that he's got 2 players outside him. The 26th try assist of the season from Bevan French, and Toby King, he's the player who benefits from it.
Bevan French, it's pretty remarkable, isn't it? He sits top of the list for try assists. Here's a quick one from him there. When you think he played on the wing for the opening 6 rounds, He's had a remarkable season, Bevan French. 6 games on the right wing, then 8 games at fullback, then 9 games at stand-up. I think this is his 10th. 3 very different jobs, and yet he looks comfortable in all 3 of the roles that he's had. One of the most exciting players in the competition, and equally, possibly, Wigan's most important this year too. Waiting here, waiting, combination of the fullback, the scrum half, and eventually the stand-off half. Flicks the ball out to King. He slides over and makes the kick a little easier.
Jake Wardle scoring, Toby King scoring, the Wigan centres, 4th successive game those 2 have got on the score sheets. They have been a very good acquisition. Now then, Catalan and Hull KR, it is neck and neck there, 20 points to 18. The Robins are leading. Lee against Huddersfield, 16-12. I think there's a delay there because the floodlight failure at Lee Sports Village has brought things to a halt for the moment. It's interesting, this Toby King situation, because he is actually a Warrington player, isn't he? He's on a season-long loan. The impact he's made this season, 10 tries now.
Bevan French, as I say, he's got an interesting defending as well as attacking. When you think Matty Pete, he's almost been the modern-day Tinkerman, hasn't he? Bevan French was the 5th player that he tried in that standoff position. It was round 15. We were past the halfway stage in the season before he found his best fit at standoff.
Marshall with the tackle. Kensio picks up and goes, but Wardle stops his progress. Sneed. Briley, here is Tim Laffey. Let's have a look at the table as it stands. Busy night, and of course things are going to change. This is the race for the playoffs. Lee, where you were. Hull KR going up. Warrington slipping out. Salford out. It's really, really difficult to call, isn't it?
I've never known a season like it. The race to get in the 6th, the race for the top of the table, it's been incredible. Some teams will look back in the end of the season at games that they've lost and threw away. Others will look back and say, what a season we've had, like the Leopards. No one expected that, did they? What a plus they've been for the competition.
Wigan 26-4 ahead here against Salford. One of the sides vying for a top 6 place. Byrne leaves Sneed on the deck with another strong run. Here is French. Wrestling for the ball with Briley. There were 2 in the tackle, and Briley, he couldn't help himself, could he?
Do you know what? It's a good call, isn't it, from Chris Kendall? He knew exactly what Bevan French doing. Look, there was 2 men in the tackle, and he realised that, look, there's 2 men in. If I just let go of the ball, we'll get a penalty. And he was onto that. He was trying to kid him.
And Chris Kendall didn't fall for it.
Started laughing. Well, Bevan French, to be fair, started laughing as well. As soon as he looked up at Ryan Briley and saw again looking to shift that ball.
CO once more. Salford's top try scorer this season, Ken CO, but hasn't had an opportunity so far tonight. Quickly on from Tim Laffey and Burgess knocked that on. There's a hand in there.
Yeah, I think it comes
6
off
to go.
Abbas Miski. When the ball was passed, it come off Abbas Miski, just trying to stick his hand out and stop that play.
But it's not Salford at their normal fluent best, is it?
No, they're not clinical. They're under the pump, but you've got to credit Wigan. Just look at that defensive line. Where do you go? They're aware of the threat and the dangers that Salford have and possess, but that defensive line has been pretty dominant right the way through this game.
When you get towards the last month of the season, Bill, I guess you want a rhythm, and Wigan, having the way they performed in France, they've carried that through here for almost an hour tonight.
Here's Dion Cross. Ackers. Callum Watkins, and Watkins loses the ball, and Wigan have it back. No, Watkins was robbed of the ball.
Jake Wardle, the referee, Says he stripped the ball there. Look, the right hand. Is it enough? Is it just a play? No, I think that's a loose carry from Callum Watkins. No, Jake Wardle's just trying to bring him down, and he just drops the ball cleanly.
Kingvuni is back on the field, so Salford are back to full strength. He served his time in the sin bin. Salford looking to find a way through this really impressive Wigan defence. They didn't concede against Catalan last week, and they've kept Salford at bay so far here tonight. Here is Sneed. Sneed. On it goes to Cross. Dion Cross gets away from the first challenge. Eventually brought down just a couple of metres or so away from that Wigan try line. Maybe a big opportunity, but Partington can't control, and it goes forward, says the referee. Oh, dear me.
Again, disappointed, but you just look at that line, feel under a bit of pressure. I think the last 6 games, the Warriors have only conceded, I think it's 7 tries. Shows how good they have been, and like Phil said, that the business end of the year, they just want to make sure that they're clinical with the ball and without the ball.
It's a good test as well here now. You know, they've probably won this game here with over 20 minutes to go, but can they stay concentration with an ignorance of the scoreboard and play with that intensity that they've shown last week against the Dragons, tonight so far, and what they'll need for the remaining games and the playoffs.
Meanwhile, Salford's miserable record at the DW Stadium looks like continuing. Only 1 win in the last 9 visits, and we've mentioned it already, that was that playoff semi-final in 2019. No sign of that being repeated here tonight against Super League's top try scorers. Went into this game with 109 tries in 23 rounds, averaging 4.7 per game, and they've carried on in that vein tonight, and still time for them. Harry Smith booms the kick downfield, and it sits up nicely for Ryan Briley, and he looks up, and there's Junior Nsemba arriving to stand solidly in his way, and he looks and he thought, right, I'm going not going that way then.
It's just relentless.
It's gone the other way anyway.
Yeah. Well, you're just scanning across that line, just looking for a weakness in it, and Salford just can't find it at the minute. They're doing everything right. They're getting off the line. They're catching the man who's got the ball. They're wrapping the ball up, taking him to ground, and working pretty well from marker as well. You can see Sam Powell. He was caught at first marker. He works out. He pushes off, and he brings the man to ground.
Here's Callum Watkins. Wardle with a good tackle on him, acknowledged by the Wigan supporters. That's on the halfway line. Partington. Here's Kingvuni now. Fijian international driving into the Wigan 40, but that's the 5th tackle. Brodie Croft. They're going to run it until Briley hoists the kick into the corner, and Marshall left it. And he was really between a rock and a hard place there, Liam Marshall.
It's a good kick, isn't it, from Ryan Briley? And he's caught in 2 minds, and just at the last second you can see he just pulls out of it. And it's got enough. It took an awkward bounce, bounced into him, then gone out of the field. And what a year he has had, Liam Marshall.
Yeah, overshadowed by Abbas Miski and his try-scoring exploits. But Marshall's on 19 going into this game, but he didn't score last week against the Catalan Dragons, Liam Marshall, having scored in the previous 7 games.
I think you can let him off with that, Bill. Pretty harsh.
No, wouldn't be. Byrne playing the ball. There's Bevan French.
If you had to say, oh, 6 again, he's white. My point was going to be about the kick. If you had to say the most impressive thing, it's Wigan's chase when they kick the ball downfield, and that's been for an hour really. when they've kicked it from the start right up until now, the chasers, Bill, you noted it, the line of red and white shirts there trying to trap Ryan Brierley, all moving up quickly, very little gaps between them. That's been the standout feature for me.
Oh, my word. Burn again.
He's had a little duel, hasn't he, with Callum Watkins?
First half, it was pretty even Stevens, wasn't it, between the two of them? I think Burns getting the upper hand now.
Well, he picks him out. Look, he's gone looking for him, and Callum Watkins finds himself in the back row this year, but started at centre.
Brave from Callum Watkins. Here is Cade Ellis, the other front rower. That's the 5th tackle. French. And French just trying a bit of trickery and still managing to perform a little bit of trickery. It's Shorrocks with a booming pass. Goes behind all his teammates. Marshall, little chip kick over the top. Still on the last it was, and Salford have it back.
A sandwich between a couple of defenders then. The referee said it wasn't a penalty, and see Ben Helliwell now just trying to carry the ball upfield, but it's an attitude defending.
26-18, Hull KR now lead the Catalan Dragons. The top of the table, Catalan Dragons, as it was when we went into proceedings tonight.
Well, the ball's come out there from Tim Lafayette, and this last 20 minutes or so remaining of the match fascinates me, because these two sides over the course of the season are very contrasting ends to matches. Wigan have scored twice as many and conceded half as many points in the last 20 minutes, and Salford, they've had completely the reverse. They've scored less than half the points that they've conceded in this final 20 minutes. I don't know whether that's a fitness or a focus, but this will be an interesting observation here now to see. It's 26-4 at the moment. What does that blow out to now until we get to 80 minutes?
Well, so tight is the competition. Points difference is going to make going to be a factor for the sides looking to finish 5th and 6th, but also could ultimately be in who gets the league leadership. Oh, the kick ahead from Marshall. That's a bit of improv. And back goes Brierley. Sneed, I beg your pardon, who was tidying up at the back for the Salford Red Devils.
I don't think that the Hull KR result so far has flashed up here at the DW Stadium. No, for the fans to realise it, but look, we're going to have a chance of finishing the year with the league leaders' shield. You know, if they get beat Catalan, all of a sudden they've lost the last two. Wigan are on the front foot. Wow, what a finish we've got.
Here is Tim Lafayette. Yeah, Wigan with Leeds away to come. Castleford Tigers at home, and they finish off their regular season fixtures at Lee Leopards. But there you go, Leeds against Wigan next Saturday, September the 9th. You can see that on Sky Sports.
Don't Wigan owe them one after the event here? Was it Leeds down to 12 men and won by 40 points? Not quite by 40, but they scored 40 or so, didn't they?
Leeds with a faint hope of making the top 6. It is faint. Huddersfield's hopes look to be extinguished at Lee, although the floodlights are extinguished, so nothing much is happening there, I don't think. It's going to be a late night in Lee. Here is Mark Sneed. Sneed, the ball comes off Toby King, and the referee says play on, and they play on, and Field looks around, and eventually, Field was on his way, and the referee eventually brings him back. What is spoil sport? Chris Kendall.
You give me a heart attack, you two, jumping up like that.
That's how quickly, look at that, I said before, Salford react quickly. That's the two fastest players and the two quickest to react here. Powell up to French, taps it back like a volleyball, set into the hands of Jay Field. The referee, was it the one from Powell to French? Is a forward pass.
Let's go. Get in, Ryan.
That was the one classified as a forward pass.
Hang on. Wigan have got the ball.
Yeah, because of the knock-on from Salford.
Move! Here we are. Wait.
Here's Cade Ellis playing the ball. Here is Liam Farrell, one of Wigan's try scorers here tonight. It hasn't been a a happy night for the Salford Red Devils, which is customary here at Wigan for them.
They've got to finish the game well here, Salford, just for something for next week to build on. Well, they've won the last 2 coming into this, and again it's another strong carry from Lee and Byrne. They were involved in a couple of close losses against Saints and Lee in the last 5 games.
Wigan's home form has been exceptional this season. It was last season when they were unbeaten in the weekly rounds. This season have only lost against the Catalan Dragons and Leeds on home soil. Here is Harry Smith to Field, and Field trying to get away, but instead leaves the ball for Ken Seo. Now, you know, Ken Seo can motor. Good covering tackle. It was Miski who came across to deny Ken Seo, but Salford flooding forward. Can they find a way through this Wigan defence? Tim Laffey, here is Burgess. Burgess back into the middle of the field, and King Vuniyayiwa puts the ball down.
And that probably sums up Salford's night, but it also sums up the way Wigan are playing. Look how many players in a cherry and white shirt get back to defend. Knowing that they've been caught out, knowing that there's been a mistake, they come off the back of a quick play of the ball, Salford over on the right-hand side. Paul Rowley knows it has not been his side's night tonight. They just couldn't unpick a really strong defensive side.
Wait for the outcall, Salford. Heads in. Head in, wait for the outcall.
Going into this game, 6 Warriors players were into double figures in terms of tries scored this season, including in the Cup. I think Ian Proctor will probably confirm that is now 8, because King and Wardle have both hit double figures. It's pretty good going. No wonder they're the competition's top attackers. Here is Cade Ellis, and Salford looking weary.
10 metres.
It's certainly been a tough night. They made 55 tackles more than them, but it's these like big charges that have really sapped the energy out of them, and maybe the penalties that they've given away early. I know it's starting to even itself up now, but
it's a shove.
He's taken out there, Ryan Bradley. Surely
been picked up. The referee is eventually going to bring him back, but he's just going to say there was a knock on.
Well, again, a lot of energy, a lot of effort. You see Ryan Bradley, he's taken out. Yeah. And he appealed to the referee straight away, didn't he? And he didn't have a chance of catching that ball. Yeah, he's under pressure, but got to give himself a chance.
Salford do have it back, but they're deep in their own half, in front of those jubilant Wigan supporters, enjoying life at the moment. And their side on course to shut out another Super League side. They shut the Catalan Dragons side last week, but maybe not so this week, because Dion Cross, and Cross has got some support, but couldn't get there. Ben Hellawell, I beg your pardon, who was on his shoulder and didn't have the pace, but they're still rolling forward now. Ackers with the run. Scrambling defence from Field this time. Here is Danny Addy. Addy trying to take him on himself. And Addy is just held up short of the line. That's the 5th tackle. Can Salford find a way through? The ball with Sneed, it's on the last, it's Croft. Croft, little kick with the outside of the boot. Oh, Marshall, it was so tempting for Marshall. And then Wigan are offside next to their own posts, and Salford will get another opportunity. Just for a moment I thought that was going to land in Liam Marshall's arms there.
Well, they've tried for almost 70 minutes to score a try, Salford, and have been denied. Lots of half chances. Can't convert any of them into a try. We'll get another opportunity. The referee stopped the clock, I think.
Coming to the last 10 minutes, Wigan determined not to allow Salford to find a way over, but Burgess might have other ideas. But good scrambling work and good work from King and Miski there, driving Burgess back towards the Wigan 20. Still plenty of tackles here for Salford. Here's King Vuniyayiwa.
Bill, and you bet the talk with Wigan will be, don't let him score here.
Ackers, Brodie Croft, the ball will find Kensio, and Salford will find a way through in the end. Some consolation for the Red Devils supporters as Kensio becomes Salford's top try scorer this season with his 12th of the campaign.
Well, it's pretty explosive, isn't he? Kensio gets a lovely ball from Ryan Brierley, scored 2 tries in March against Wigan, and they were just undone by good play, and I'd be so disappointed. The 4 points that they'd had on the scoreboard were from penalties, but to concede a try on the back of that clean score sheet last week against Catalan down in the south of France, they'd be disappointed to concede that in the last 10 minutes.
Sneed back on the field, back on goal-kicking duties. He's failed to score in only 1 game that he's played in this season, and that's, well, including tonight, that's 25 games. But from the sideline, a difficult one for Sneed, and he can't hit the target. 26 points to 8.
And I think that score that you just read there, Bill, is probably a more accurate reflection of the gap between these two teams. 26-4, probably exaggerated. Salford hadn't been really in this contest, but they've narrowed the gap slightly. They may do even more in the remaining 8 or so minutes we've got left. But I think as the Wigan coach, Matt Peat, would have to be delighted with that as an evening's work, the end of a week. They've worked hard to build some consistency in their performance from the way they played in France, returned from a high, got themselves back up to play at that level again.
They're starting games really well, aren't they? The damage was done last week in Catalan in the first half. The damage has been done tonight in the first half. It's 1 try apiece in the second half. And I'm not saying that Wigan have switched off or Salford have improved. It's just the start of the games that Wigan are really focusing on and doing a decent job.
Salford keeping the ball alive. There's Brodie Croft. There's Kingvuni Yayua. Lifting the Salford spirits after that try from Kensio. Croft struggling to his feet. Here is Sneed. It's Danny Addy. Spun to the ground. Patrick Mago's tackle. Ackers with a kick. Hoping maybe for a 40-20. But it's fielded by Bevan French.
Yeah, just didn't quite have the distance or accuracy to get that. I agree, he was going for the 40-20. Still searching for some points. The big thing for Salford now is don't concede any points. They've got to ride this game out, 7 minutes to go. There's a big shot coming from Ormond. He shot the line, didn't he, across a couple of his teammates.
Well, the news from Lee with their game against Huddersfield is that there is still no play because of this floodlight failure.
You'd have to wonder how long until that game's abandoned then.
Here is Liam Farrell.
The last thing they want is a replay at the back end of the year, isn't it?
That's the 5th tackle. And Harry Smith launches another towering kick. Brierley does well. French does well to make the tackle bang on time.
He could just smell his breath, couldn't he? Just coming down on him then. Again, just nowhere to go. Brierley backpedaling. He could sense it.
Oh, he did well there, Ryan Brierley.
Yeah, he did. He just looked at the expression on his face then. He knew what was coming. Bit of a fumble there. Then from Dion Cross.
Get away with that. Salford then, their top 6 hopes taking a knock here tonight, and coming up they've got Warrington next at home, then that big game at Hull KR, a game you can see on Sky Sports a couple of weeks' time, and then they're at home to Catalan. Sneed trying to get out his man, outside his man, but gets the ball away to Dion Cross. Smith, Wardle doing the tackling. Sneed with a little step to find some room, then a little chip kick over the top. The only man chasing it was King Vuni Yayua, and Juni Nesemba picks the ball up for Wigan.
Still trying everything, even a little tip over the top, and like I said, just the prop forward that was running up. There he is. King Vuni Yayua.
King Vuni Yayua, I beg your pardon, really went for Liam Marshall there. And Liam Marshall's just having a word, which is a brave move. But he is a brave player, isn't he? He really punches above his weight, Liam Marshall.
Outstanding. I think even last week when they were in Catalan, 160 odd metres he made carrying the ball, which certainly does help out the likes of Patrick Maygo. Well, he has a lot of power, a lot of strength. The ball's come free. Was that strip? There was 4 in the tackle. No, it wasn't.
So what does this do for Salford? Well, we know from the table what it does for the top 6 hopes, but long term, you guys all made your predictions before the game. Does this have any bearing? Does this alter any views?
I probably didn't think they were going to win this game. The 2 that I think they have to win are the 4-pointers next week when they play against Warrington, and then when they play Hull KR the week after that. Those that you can see, they're the closest rivals. The 2 teams just above them at the moment in 5th and 6th.
And Wigan, meanwhile, have their eyes on the top of the table. Looking to overhaul the Catalan Dragons.
I think they're the form team at the minute. Wigan, I think they go on. Yeah, if Catalan lose tonight, they go top, Wigan, and I don't think then that they'll lose again. They'll go on to lift the league leaders' shield for me. Well, what they've been doing with the ball has been really impressive recently. The second half of the year, I think they've been really good. Defensively, they've been outstanding.
Yeah, this is going to be 6 consecutive Super League wins for Wigan. And they will, as Terry said, climb to the top of the table. Catalan Dragons faltering in their quest for the league leaders title. Sneed with a delicate kick towards those Wigan posts. The referee was the man to avoid there, and Jake Wardle does just that. Here is Field. He ended the first half with a scintillating break.
Probably ending Salford's hopes, wasn't it, really? That killer blow.
It was, yeah.
It was a depressive move from the Salford side when they walked off, trudged off field when they haven't conceded in dramatic circumstances there. It went from a 10-point gap
in the space of 8
16,
minutes.
Yeah.
And Salford never really recovered. Here's Farrell motoring through the middle. It opened up for him. French was arriving looking for the ball but couldn't quite get it to him. That's the 5th tackle. Wigan looking to round this victory off with more points.
They'll be happy with that, word they turn the ball over.
And a big win for Hull KR against the Catalan Dragons, boosting the Robins' playoff hopes and dealing a blow to the Catalan Dragons' hopes of taking that title. What a season finale this is turning out to be.
Well, it'll be good news in that changing room if you're a Wigan official or a player, to get the news that you're top of the league and destiny's in your own hands now. And Matty Pete, what a job he has done since he took over, Coach of the Year last year.
Not a bad night's work for Wigan. Comprehensive victory against a top 6 rival and top of the table. 5th tackle. And Sneed. One last hit and hope into the hands of Field, and Field,
well, they'll be looking to get hold of him.
Immediate thought is what is ahead of me? What are the chances?
Don't end the game like we ended the first half. That's what they were thinking then.
Third win of the season for Wigan this is over the Salford Red Devils. And this a win that deals a big blow to Salford's hopes of a top 6 finish. It's good news for Hull KR, good news for Warrington, who play tomorrow. And Salford players on the knees, dejected. Wigan supporters and coach jubilant. Still plenty of work to do, but it's been a very, very profitable week or so for Wigan. Winning in Perpignan comprehensively, and now Matt Peate's men have seen off the challenge of the Salford Red Devils. And a lot more comprehensively than many people expected going into this game. It was tight maybe for the first quarter of the game, and then that flourish of points from the Wigan Warriors took the game away from Salford. And the only thing that's going to spoil Wigan's night is that they conceded a try to Kensio, and they've won this one 26 points to 8 of Wigan.
Bill, Terry, Phil, thank you very much. They will be delighted with the victory, delighted with 2 competition points. And when news filters back to the Wigan Warriors players and coaching staff that the Catalan Dragons have lost in the east side of Hull to Hull KR, they will be extra happy. It has blown open the race for the 2023 League Leaders Shield. Wigan go top of the table, ahead now of the Catalan Dragons. Saints to play on Sunday, they'll have a say in that, but with Wigan's healthy points difference, that is a huge night for the Warriors and a bitter disappointment for Steve McNamara's Catalan Dragons. For Salford, they move out of the top 6, and it's Salford, or Hull KR I say, who jump in and over the Warrington Wolves. We expected a lot of movement. Barry McDermott and